Are you having trouble in your love life? Are you searching for your other half? I think most of us hope for a sweet romance and a happy marriage, but in reality, we often stumble and get hurt time and time again. The path to understanding and learning how to love is a journey with many lessons that help you grow and mature. Along with learning from your own romantic experiences and observing others, you can also enrich your wisdom about love through classic books. There's a novel that has been called an encyclopedia of love. The New York Times hailed it as the greatest love story in human history. It's the novel Love in the Time of Cholera by Gabriel García Márquez. This was the work he was most satisfied with, written right after the book that won him the Nobel Prize. This book tells a love story that spans more than half a century. Florentino Ariza, a poor young man, falls in love with Fermina Daza, a beautiful girl from a wealthy family. The difference in their social status and wealth keeps them apart. Fermina marries someone else, while Florentino strives to improve himself to win back the true love of his life. And after 51 years of countless ups and downs, the two finally end up together. It's a great love story that stood the test of time, right? However, behind this brilliant romance lies a brutal reality of life that all of us must reflect on. Love isn't just built on sincere feelings, it's also about the compatibility of your overall strengths. If you and your partner are not on the same wavelength, love, no matter how passionate, can slowly wither over the years. Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to Better Version, the channel for personal development through great books. Today I want to share a message called If You're Not Good Enough, It Doesn't Matter Who You Love, through the famous novel Love in the Time of Cholera by the great Colombian writer Gabriel García Márquez. If you're not good enough, no amount of love can save the future. Florentino Ariza, the main character, is the illegitimate son of a wealthy and powerful founder of a shipping company, but he was never acknowledged publicly. All the support Florentino received from his father was kept secret. Then one day his father suddenly passed away, cutting off his financial support. He was forced to drop out of school and make a living by working at the post office. While sending a telegram, Florentino met Fermina. Her almond-shaped eyes glanced at him, and his heart skipped a beat. To get her attention, he would sit on a park bench near her house every morning, pretending to read a book of poetry, and he relentlessly wrote her letters. In his love letters, he tucked in flower petals with tiny poems carved on them. At midnight, he would often stand near her house, playing his violin to lull her to sleep. Gradually, Fermina grew fond of this young man. Their relationship quickly blossomed, and Florentino proposed to Fermina. However, things took a completely different turn. Because Fermina was dating while in school, she was disciplined and expelled. Her father flew into a rage, found Florentino, and yelled, "Stay out of my daughter's way." In the eyes of a newly rich merchant with little education, his daughter was his ticket to the future, while Florentino, an illegitimate son, was just an obstacle. So Fermina's father used distance to separate the young lovers. He took Fermina away from their hometown. However, no matter where Fermina went, Florentino managed to send her love letters. Seeing that he couldn't keep them apart, the father finally gave his daughter the right to decide her own marriage. After a long separation, Fermina met Florentino again. But now, in her eyes, Florentino was a poor, ugly, and shabby man like a vagrant, completely different from the Prince Charming she had imagined. She suddenly realized that the love she had been obsessed with was just an illusion, so she decisively broke off with Florentino. There's a line in the book, "The weak can never enter the kingdom of love, for it is a harsh and miserly kingdom. And women will only yield to men of substance, because only such men can give them a sense of security. They desire that sense of security to face life's challenges. A small cottage, 2 golden hearts, is not a bad thing, but one day the people in that cottage may have to face the harsh realities of life. Florentino was intelligent and talented, but his weakness at the time was like a nail pinning him to the bottom of society. Although he tried his best to show his devotion, the fact that he hadn't grown for years was a fatal blow to his love story.
This is true for many people. When you like someone, you might throw all your principles out the window to win them over, like a moth to a flame. But in the end, when your feelings aren't reciprocated, you're left disappointed and hurt. Why is it so unfair when I love someone so sincerely and so much? But you don't realize that the real problem lies with you. You're not good enough. No matter how much you love, that love can't prop up the future for both of you. Behind the curtain of love, the daily necessities are always practical problems. This is something anyone who rushes into love and marriage must face. Love is a marathon. After breaking up with Florentino, Fermina fell seriously ill. She was vomiting and had diarrhea, and her father, thinking she had cholera, called Dr. Juvenal Urbino to examine her. The moment Dr. Urbino saw Fermina, he was captivated by her beauty. Her father saw this and immediately had an idea. Dr. Urbino came from a noble family, was a highly skilled physician, and was involved in philanthropy, making him very influential in the community. If he married his daughter to him, not only would she never have to worry about food and clothing for the rest of her life, but she would also have a solid support system. So the father tried to set them up, and the doctor began to date Fermina. After getting to know him, Fermina felt that although the doctor wasn't very romantic, he had good prospects and cared for her, so maybe he was someone she could entrust her life to. In the end, she accepted Dr. Urbino's proposal. Some say that marriage is just an exchange, where each party gets what they need. Fermina's beauty and Dr. Urbino's status fit this description perfectly. It was like a trade. Wherever they went, bringing Fermina along made the doctor the center of envy because of her beauty. As for Fermina, she was no longer just the daughter of a merchant, she was now the wife of the famous Dr. Urbino, a person with social standing, enjoying wealth and fame. But, as you know, all beauty eventually faces aging. A youthful face will gradually wrinkle. A slender figure will no longer be as graceful as before. At this point, the balance of their initial exchange began to break down. As Fermina grew older and her glamour faded, she became a housewife living in her husband's shadow. The endless housework exhausted her. Meanwhile, Dr. Urbino's reputation grew, and his horizons expanded. Eventually, he lost interest in Fermina's aging face and even had affairs with younger women. Although he later returned to his family, the couple now had more and more conflicts, often arguing over trivial matters. Fermina had to spend the rest of her life in that heavy atmosphere. In the novel Jane Eyre, there's a line that says, "Love is a game, and you must always be on equal footing with your partner to love each other for a long time. Because if your partner is too strong, it will be very tiring, and if your partner is too weak, it will be very boring." That's right. Love is a marathon. When two people first fall in love or get married, they start at the same line. But whether they can reach the finish line together depends on their overall capabilities. If two people are on the same frequency and achieve a state of balance, life will be harmonious. But when one person isn't strong enough and the other keeps growing, the gap between them will widen. Without enough tolerance and love, the stronger one will take control in the relationship, while the weaker one will become passive and have to accept it. If the flower blooms, the bees and butterflies will come. Back then, when Florentino was heartbroken after learning Fermina had married, he was too sad to speak, eat, or drink, and cried all night. Later, he learned from this painful experience and began to work hard to change his situation. He went to his uncle's company to apply for a job, passed rigorous tests, and eventually earned his uncle's trust, becoming a key trainee. Florentino's career began to take off, but in matters of love, he remained a wanderer with no place to land, because there was always a special place in his heart for Fermina. Getting back with Florentino became Florentino's sole goal for the rest of his life. He took great care of his body, And even in his old age, he maintained his energy and a strong physique. In his career, he excelled at everything with admirable skill, and he eventually succeeded in becoming the president of the company, wealthy, powerful, and healthy. Florentino finally waited for the crucial moment. Dr. Urbino passed away.
On the first day, Fermina became a widow. Before she could even wipe away her tears, Florentino appeared. He confessed the love he had kept for nearly half a century, but she angrily threw him out. Of course, he was not discouraged. He picked up his pen again and wrote her love letters. To Fermina, his letters were like a tranquilizer. And at this point, Fermina finally broke free from her widow's shadow, took his advice, and decided to board a cruise ship owned by Florentino's company. On this journey, Florentino arranged the main cabin for Fermina, and amidst the clouds, sky, and sea, he created an unreal love, separate from the world. The old couple had lost half their lives, but they finally came together and rekindled the love of their youth. One might ask, was Fermina truly moved by love? If Florentino wasn't the capable man he was now, but an old, poor, and ugly man who suddenly came to her and said, "I will love you forever," would the outcome have been the same? The answer is clearly no. In fact, Fermina would never have chosen Florentino again if he were still the weak man he once was. This is the reality of life. She decided to board the ship with Florentino because she now knew that his feelings were deep enough, and his strength also gave her a sense of security. Plant a phoenix tree, and a phoenix will surely come to visit. If the flower blooms, bees and butterflies will surely come. When you still don't have what you truly want, the first thing to do is to look at yourself. Instead of being discouraged and pessimistic, it's better to calm down and temper yourself through practical efforts to improve. Then, without having to chase or try to please anyone, you will be like a blooming flower, naturally exuding a fragrance that attracts those who love you. Florentino's story is very similar to many of ours. Loving someone, giving it our all, but feeling as small and insignificant as dust, only to be rejected in the end. For someone who doesn't love you, you can pour out your youth and passion, but get no sincere affection in return. However, the problem always lies with us. An author once said, "Of all the responsibilities in the world, the most basic responsibility is to be yourself, to live as a self with a unique personality and value. Don't try to chase a horse when you're not strong enough yourself. Instead, use the time you would have spent chasing the horse to grow your own grass. When spring comes and flowers bloom, the horse will naturally be drawn to you." On the scales of love, don't let your undeveloped personality, abilities, and conditions make you unbalanced. The prerequisite for love is to first become an excellent version of yourself. Only by constantly pushing yourself to shine, to illuminate yourself, can you light up the love of your life. The better you become, the person you like will naturally come to you. The same issue, different people will have different perspectives. The same book, different people will have different understandings. Today's video is Better Versions Understanding and Feeling after reading this book, and I want to share it with all of you for reference and learning. For me, this book isn't just about love. It's a book that helps us learn from characters who are portrayed as real as life, helping you understand how to love, how to cultivate and build your own happiness before and during love. No matter what, love yourself first. Learn to make yourself better. Because when you change yourself, you will become more outstanding. You will have enough tolerance and know how to truly love. You will give an unconditional love, not turn love into some kind of transaction. What we need to do is achieve a state of balance and maintain that state in love. Balance is the best state for maintaining a lasting relationship. I really like this saying. Learn to be a person from an umbrella. When you can't provide shade and shelter for others, no one will hold you high above their head. Remember, as long as you get better, other things will gradually get better. If you want to love others, learn to fill yourself up first. The way you love yourself is how you teach others to love you. I hope we can all be sincere people, using our own excellence to have a beautiful and meaningful love experience in this life. Thank you for listening. If you found this video helpful, please share it with those who need it. Support me with a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to catch the latest videos. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.